I was just up here thinking to myself, you want to know what's so sad? This is so sad. Some men will never have a family. It's so sad that some men will never have a family, but you know, we all can't be, ladies' men. We all can't be those top tier guys. Um, I was just thinking to myself, like, there are some men who will never have a wife and children. They will never have a family. If I was on a certain economic level, I would just pay women to sleep with me. I just go to Vegas, go to brothels, and just pay sluts to sleep with me because I see clear as day that there are some men who are just not being chosen by women. There are some men who are just not good enough to get a woman. And from the time I was young, my father always told me I would need money in order for a woman to like me. Uh, if you got to have money in order for a woman to deal with you, that just means that women just don't find you to be a good looking man. That's all that means. They just don't find you to be a good looking man. And unfortunately, you're just not good enough. There are some guys who are just worthless. And I don't blame certain dudes for giving up on themselves. As a man, there's nothing wrong with accepting that you a loser. There's nothing wrong with accepting being defeated. Some people just got to accept defeat. And as a man, it doesn't make you any less of a man if you accept that you're not good enough for a woman, if you accept being defeated, if you accept being a loser. It doesn't make you any less of a man. Every man cannot be a Zac Efron. You know, every man is not created in God's image. Every man is not attractive to women. you know, it pisses me off that you got some guys, they try to make it seem like every man has the ability to attract a woman. Some men just ain't good enough to get nobody. And it is so incredibly sad that you got some men who will never have a wife. They will never have children. It's sad and pitiful, man. There are some men, they couldn't even have a family even if they wanted to. I know I'll never have a wife and kids. And it's just sad and it's very unfortunate. Some men are just not good enough to get a woman. And people need to stop making it seem like every man has the ability to attract somebody. There are some men that's just ugly to women. Women find them to be ugly. And as a man, if you know that women are not attracted to you, as a man, if you haven't had the success that you want to have with women, just give up. Just accept that you're just not a special guy. You're just not worth nothing. You know, there's nothing wrong with giving up on yourself. I gave up on myself a long time ago because I knew from a young age that women just wasn't digging me. You know, um, this game of life is very unfair. And every dude just don't have what it takes to attract a woman. You know, if you weren't sought after by girls in your younger days, if you wasn't desired from a young age, then you never will be desired. Getting females, everyone knows that starts young, when you're in middle school, when you're in high school. These things don't start when you're a grown man. Um, there are some guys that's just not good enough for women. Every dude don't have that sexiness to make a woman cream. Some dudes just ain't good enough. You know, some dudes ain't worth nothing. And that's the truth. So, you know, guys who try to shame you, dudes who try to tell you to work on yourself and better yourself as a man, they're just talking out of their behind. Those men don't know what they're talking about. Every man don't have the ability to get somebody. Some men, they would have to be rich in order for a woman to deal with them. There are literally some men They would have to be a multi-millionaire in order for a woman to get him the time of day. I believe the only way a woman would deal with me is if I was rich. I feel a woman would have to be able to see that she could fully take advantage of me. You know, that's the only way I could see a woman would deal with my behind. And that's the way it is for a lot of guys. Some dudes are just not good enough for women. They ain't sexy to women. And as a man, if you know that you're not good enough, embrace that. That's one thing I liked about Baraka. He always told me that he wasn't good enough, that he wasn't worth nothing. Some people not worth nothing. God didn't put the ability to be great in every man. He just didn't give it to every man. Every man don't have what it takes to be great. And I'm just here to tell you, like, this is some sad stuff, man. This is some stuff that needs to be talked about on the news, because you got a lot of guys who are deeply depressed out here because they will never have a wife and children. You know, that's some sad stuff right there, to know that you'll never be able to procreate all because you don't look good enough. That's terrible. I mean, it's really sad, but you know, it goes back to the standards of these women. Women's standards are too high when it comes to men. Some men just ain't good enough to get a woman, you know? And that's all it is to it. People want to know why they're incels or guys that are not being sought after by women. Some guys just ain't good enough to get a woman. And that's the truth. And people know the truth deep down. People know that there are certain men who are not good enough for women. They just ain't good enough. Every man can't be a ladies' man. But that's pretty much been my message. I feel for a lot of you guys out there, because I'm sure a lot of you guys, you know, you in the same position that I'm in. You're not going to be able to have a wife and kids either. But, you know, that's just the way it is for some dudes. Some dudes are losers, and that's just how it's going to be. But I'll be talking to you guys. Just, you know, it's just sickening how bad some guys are. You know, how bad off some guys are, that they'll never be able to have a wife and kids. But I'm out, guys. Have a good night.